here. All right, here we are. We're on the record here. Welcome to another Garden Chat Live. I'm Bren, the host of this event, and I'm really excited. I've got Janet Cassidy here. Hey, Janet.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. My Ohio buddy, right?
I know, right? I was going to say fellow Ohioan.
That's right. Yes. Fellow Buckeye.
Right. So, good. We have people joining us in the chat room. That's awesome. If you're watching this presentation live today and you're not on the Blab platform, please click over to Blab, because when you're in the chat, when you're in the Blab, you can actually ask questions for our guest host. And I hope we get some questions today, because I know I got a lot of questions.
Good.
I'm always confused, aren't I?
Well,
you know me.
I probably could, I'm sure I have a lot of questions for you if we can go back that way. So yeah.
It's all good. So, okay. So first off, let's, you specialize in food preservation, right?
That's right. So actually, we're talking gardening today, and the connection is much of the food that I grow. We don't do too many ornamentals around here. Most of our property is actually reserved for food production. And so really much of the food that we grow is really to preserve. So, we got a pretty full larder of preserved, primarily canned, but we also do some freezing and some dehydrating. Yep.
Very cool. And people can check out what you're doing on your blog.
That's right.
jansjar.blogspot.
Exactly.
Right?
And so there's lots of information about, preservation as well as gardening. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. You've got some great recipes
on
there.
We cook a lot too. Yeah. So this is usually the time of year where we're not working outside so much, so we're often in the kitchen.
Right. Really? That's cool. Okay. No, that's cool. Yep. Okay, so we're heading into April. Are we getting close here to start playing in that soil, or?
We are. So in our neck of the woods, we especially for some of those, I think we might have some peas in the ground. I can't remember if John got around to putting them in yet. But for things like broom corn, we'll probably wait closer to the frost-free date. And so for us, that's the middle of May. It's different wherever you are. So check your local growing area. But usually around May 15th, give or take, is when we start to really do a big push.
Okay. That's when you start doing direct sow.
Exactly.
Right?
So yeah, we don't do too many starts. We do lots of direct seeding. And so most of the starts that we do are we purchase them from a greenhouse. We don't really have grower lights, and so most of the starts we do start from greenhouse, but the majority of our stuff that we plant is from seed.
Very cool. Nothing wrong with that. It's good to support the growers.
Yeah, I agree. Right? I love going to the greenhouse and checking things out. You betcha.
So last autumn, I fell in love with your decorations. Yeah. Actually, it was 2 years ago. You were sharing the beautiful corn stalks that you had on your front porch. Yep. And that was mostly the broom corn.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so, we sort of fell in love with broom corn just from sort of browsing through seed catalogs. And so they're super showy. We've got this great front porch that's actually good for, well, there it is. Thanks, Bren.
Yeah, there we go.
It's actually great for corn shocks. And I love fall decorations, and fall is one of my favorite times of the year. And so we bumped into this particular variety as we were leafing through seed catalogs. And you can see there's some really showy heads up top there. And that picture doesn't really do it justice. They're a lot more colorful. That's actually a red variety. And so there's a really great red pop in fall, sort of a deep red color. That's really beautiful. And I think much showier than traditional corn shocks, and taller, and really, really, really tall. So even a bad, oftentimes a bad year means you'll have short corn shocks because the stalks didn't grow so well. But these corn shocks have never disappointed us and always gotten to at least 10 foot. Yep.
Really? Yeah. Here, I had another picture here too. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's really red. That's really the great red color you get from the red variety. There's several varieties. Red, I think, is probably the showiest. But there's also a black seed head that's also equally showy, kind of fun around Halloween because you've got like these great black sort of seed heads. And to mix those two colors together is fun too. But there's even, I think there's yellow. I mean, look around. There's lots of varieties coming on the market now.
Okay, very cool. So the broom corn, is it something, can you eat it as well as decorate with it
Well, I'll
or
tell you
what?
what. We've never tried to eat it. Some folks say
Okay.
yes, some folks say no. I have not tried to eat it. I wouldn't know how to prepare it. The birds like it. The squirrels will eat it. So some of our leftover seeds we do feed to the squirrels. We have
Yeah.
friends who feed it to their hogs. But I don't know how tasty it is. I'll show you. I've got sort of here's our leftover red seed corns, and
Nice.
so they're pretty small and really tough. And so I
Yeah.
I don't even know how to prepare them. I just use them for
Oh,
their
my stash.
showiness. There you go. There you go. Yeah,
I got my stash.
that's
Look at all these
that's the
seeds.
black variety, right?
And they look, I mean, the seeds are totally different than what you're thinking. Like I'm used to planting like the popcorn
Yeah.
or sweet corn
Yep.
for home gardens. So yeah, they're real tiny. I mean, it is like a bird seed.
Yes, they're real tiny.
Um,
That's right.
Very cool. You get a lot. Holy
So
cow.
that's so right. So this is like I just showed you the red.
There you go. I like
This is
that.
the rest of our black seeds. And so we didn't plant
Wow.
acres of it. We did not plant acres of it, but we still got all the seeds. So
Look at
it
that.
produces a lot of
Wow.
seed. But the reason that it's called broom corn is I pulled off some heads that we saved from last year. And so these don't have many seeds on them, but what folks used to do is actually cut the heads off, bind them together, and then you can see sort of there's a broom down here, and so you probably even those off, cut them off even, and then bind those all together, and you'd make a broom out of it. We've never made a broom out of it, but I'm not opposed to making a broom out of it. I think it'd be kind of cool. But you
Yeah.
have to really sort of strip the seeds off, otherwise you're actually
Sure.
delivering seeds around your house rather than sweeping them up. So
Instead of sweeping it up. Hey, that you just gave me an idea in the dome. I could just plant easily that way. So I'm
you
like
could.
planting and
You
sweeping.
totally could. Yes, that's right.
Oh goodness. Well, but you see a lot of the brooms put together at like craft
That's
shows.
exactly right. So those are popular in craft shows, and so you can imagine, for all the seeds you get, this is like, I don't know, a penny's worth of broom corn, and so really like a whole broom would probably cost you like a dime to make. I don't know, not very much, but yeah, not very much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's insane. So, okay, so this is something we're gonna wait till May to put the seeds in. We're in zone 5, 6,
Well,
roughly. Oh, did you? Shoot. Am I gone? No.
lost you with
No, no,
Broom.
no, no, no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no.
okay. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. I
Okay.
got you. You're good. You're good.
Okay. No. And you know what? It's getting to be 3 o'clock. I bet
Kids are getting out of
well,
school. Yep.
not my kids, but the neighbors,
Yep.
and they're probably all on their Netflix, right? Darn it. Okay. Well, we'll just keep
We're gonna
rolling,
keep
and hopefully,
rolling.
if not, you guys know where to find us on Twitter.
That's
Just
right.
get us over there. I feel a podcast coming from this anyhow, so we could
Good.
always do that
Good.
later too. So, but anyways, so we want to kind of wait till the soil warms up a little bit, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
And then, so what kind of space are we talking here to grow the broom corn? Is it like when you grow corn, you need a few rows?
So we grow it in rows, and probably a little closer than traditional corn, than you would traditional corn. And so, they're big and showy, but they can still go pretty close together. You're not as worried about giving them lots of space so that you develop a good ear as you would traditional corn. You're not so worried about that. And the seed heads are so far above the ground that really there's plenty of room for the seed heads up top. So we plant them fairly close, actually. And then if we see any choking out, we'll just yank a few, but we plant them pretty close.
Okay. Very cool. So for a home garden, what are we talking with measurement here? Maybe leave about 5 feet, maybe 5 by 2 or something, or what do you think?
We plant them in a direct row. And so is that what you're asking, Bren? So they're in a row. I don't know. Our rows are, I don't know, not 30 foot probably. And so we just do a couple of those successive rows next to each other. And so in between, I would say 4 foot in between the rows probably.
Okay.
And then really there's not much to it. They're like sunflowers. You sort of put the seed in the ground and walk away, really.
Yeah.
And if you know, we like to plant them sort of in like corn. You want to plant them more in a square so that when a big wind comes along, you don't get sort of your corn wiped out. So plant them sort of in a square instead of in one single line. But other than that, they're pretty easy. And then you're just rewarded with this great thing in the fall.
Very cool. And full sun.
Yes, for sure. Yep.
Yeah. And then it might be cool in a home garden to have it like in a back. Well, I'm imagining my old yard when I lived in town, it would have been kind of nice to use it almost like a fence.
That's right.
I mean, you could do a privacy block with that
I
thing.
mean, you could probably grow some stuff up around those. So use them as trellises or use them as windbreaks for the rest of your garden. But I think what's great, I grow sunflowers in the garden and in my food garden. It's one of the few showy things that we actually grow where we grow food. And really, I just love how they look, period. That's really what they're there for, is how they look. And so it's very much the same, I would think, with the urban gardener. These are so interesting and add so much interest and height and sort of architecture and structure to your garden. And they're easy. And so it's just a great, interesting focal point in your garden.
Very cool. So we actually, we have a few people joining us live in the chat room today. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, please just add it into the chat roll here. We have a question. Someone was asking about insects. Do you have to spray for them in those, or I mean, is it an issue?
It's never been an issue. So I'd hate to say that they don't have pests, but I have never seen them. So we've grown it for probably 3 or 4 years in pretty close, same proximity every year, and we haven't seen many pests. I'd have to research that. Typically, I don't go looking for trouble. So if I don't see pests, I don't do any research. I just sort of thank the fates we don't have pests. Right. And so there could be, but I've never seen had any problems with pests.
Very cool. Yeah, that's always good to know. So I don't know, maybe would you suggest anything you could grow that would be a nice companion with that? I mean, what could you grow around that?
So really, these are tall and narrow. So if you were just growing ornamentals, I would imagine any sort of like vining, something close to the ground would be really great. That could sort of spiral up those tall stalks. But we at the base of ours is often pumpkins, and so we've got a great these sort of will pop up over that canopy that pumpkins put out, and so that's a nice thing, and they ripen sort of at the same time. And so I like that mixture. But, on the other side of these, we've got tomato cages. So it's really, it doesn't really negatively impact, I think, anything that we've planted around it. But I do like the pumpkin broom corn combo just because they're both fall and we both harvest them at the same time. And it's just kind of a cool look to the garden.
Very pretty. So, I mean, you're looking at a pretty full season, because, I mean, you need to start these May so that they're done by autumn. Right. Like now pumpkins, you wait a little bit, right?
That's
you don't want them too soon.
That's right. And plus I want these to pop up so I can see them when we're putting the pumpkins in. But actually, you'll want to, in some cases, you'll want to cut these depending on when they come ripe. You'll want to cut them and let them sit. They're still a little bit green before you actually sort of tie them up or use them in decorations. If you're going to actually make corn brooms with them, you'll definitely want to be sure they're very dry. And so you'll want to cut those and let them dry for a while before you actually cut the heads off and let the heads dry, so you can make the broom out of them.
Right. So easy. I mean, and this is a time you really, because I see them in the autumn and it's like, darn it, it's too late. Now I can't grow that. You know? This is a good time to get it in the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know, if someone is new to gardening, would you suggest them growing something like broom corn?
I would. I'm a big believer in just flinging yourself into it. Seeds are some of the cheapest experiments you can have, and so I don't think that it's hard to grow. I mean, I think popcorn's easy to grow too. So I think actually I wouldn't grow. I'm not a fan of growing sweet corn just because I think it takes up so much space in your garden and it's pretty easy to get in the summer. For us, it is anyway. But I think, I've never seen broom corn for sale at like a farmer's market. Maybe it is for sale some places, but I haven't seen it I don't think I've ever seen it.
No, me neither.
And so I say go for it, man. Don't be worried about your experience or how little or how much you have. Seriously, go ahead and try something. And if you have a question, Garden Chat's a great place to sort of stop in and pose a question. But information is easy to find these days. And if you totally have a wipeout failure, it's not a big deal. You've got the cost of a packet of seeds involved. But I suspect you won't. I suspect you'll get something out of it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be my first year growing it. Thanks to you. Thank you.
Sure.
But I'm guessing it might be a little easier than corn. Even like as a home gardener, sweet corn's very hard to grow. I did that the first year trying corn, and I don't recommend it. I love my farmers. We'll just go get it from them.
We feel the same way. Yep.
It's kind of hard. But now there's great popcorn varieties that are really easy to grow. But you still have to have, you still got to get those, the cob to grow.
That's right.
Now with the broom corn, it's not so much.
No.
I mean, it sounds like it's going to grow. You'll have more success, right?
Yes, you should.
Corn. So,
for instance, of the handful of times that we've tried sweet corn, it's usually a raccoon or a deer that comes along and picks it off at just like the hour before we're going to pick it. And so raccoons really aren't drawn to things like broom corn. And so for that reason, I think it's a pretty safe bet. It doesn't really draw new critters into your yard. That's right. Not really attractive. Yeah.
Right. Very cool. We had another question again in the chat room. They're curious about your pumpkins. Ooh. Do you grow pumpkins? You are the queen of pumpkins.
I don't know about that. So we grow a lot of pumpkins. And what I really love is eating pumpkins, those varieties. And so we're really, I'm really on a hunt for always every year, sort of what's the new variety and what are chefs using and what's like great for, we love pumpkin pie. And so we've tried a lot of pumpkin varieties and there's actually a combination that I love, which is a fairy tale pumpkin. If you've never seen it, it's very much like a Cinderella pumpkin. I mean, they're just deeply veined, really dark orange. That and a Long Island cheese or a tan cheese. Sometimes those are used interchangeably, but those two varieties cooked down, pureed, and mixed together make the best pumpkin pie for this year anyway. Who knows? There'll be more varieties that come on the market and it'll be something different next year. But we usually fill our freezer with pumpkin. In fact, I've got probably 3 more containers. So Brian, if you want to come down and head this way, we'll have some pie. But we've got about 3 containers.
Watch it. It takes me 2 hours to get to your house.
All right. I can have a pie ready in 2 hours. Yeah, come on down.
Gotta love that. And it is good pie. It is very good pie. Definitely. And you can check out, you've got lots of pictures of the pumpkins and the different pies you make. Specifically, if you're joining us today on Blab, if you just click on the little circle there with Janet's name, you can follow her on Twitter at Janet Cassidy. Janet Cassidy on Twitter.
Pretty straightforward.
And your website's attached to that. Twitter,
absolutely.
Click over there.
Yeah, just do a little search for pumpkins or even broom corn. You'll get tons of pictures for both. Yep.
Right. That's cute. They're saying in the chat room, they're saying they wish that you were their neighbor for Halloween. You need more trick-or-treaters at my house. That broom corn.
That's one of my favorite holidays, actually, is Halloween. So that's more than Christmas. I'll take Halloween. Yep.
And the broom corn, what a great way to welcome people in the autumn. And I mean, you could use it all the way through to Thanksgiving, really.
We typically try to get that up by the end of September, and then it stays up through the end of Thanksgiving. Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
So I don't know. Do you have anything else we should know about with broom corn?
The only thing to think about is, we saved these seeds. However, the black that I shared with you is heirloom variety, so you'll get you'll get a good growth out of that. The red ones are not. So I imagine that the red ones are not because it was hard to get that color naturally, and so they probably it's a hybrid. So we're probably not going to plant. We might do it for an experiment just because it's fun to see what you get. But really, the red ones are not, as of today, heirloom. And so what you've got are those black ones, and they'll grow fine. The red ones, maybe not so much. And I suspect probably any other varieties aside from black are probably not heirloom. And so you'll get a mixed bag if you try to plant those. But the black ones you'll be good with.
Good. Yep. Is that what I have? That's what I have.
The black ones. Yep.
Okay, and I'm going to split it with somebody.
Okay, split away, man. Someone's got a lot of broom corn coming to them.
Right? So if, let's see, I shared the link in the blab here. I don't know if it'll come back up again. Yep. So there's a link. If you just go on over to my website there, there's links to Janet's page, and I'll be posting some more information from this blab. If you happen to miss anything, hopefully we'll have a replay and you can watch it there. Just go to brenhaas.com and put broom corn in the search. You'll find it there. So fun. I know it's going to be, so you're going to be growing it and I'll be growing it. Somebody else will be growing it. Hopefully it's a Twitter or social media user, so we can all watch each other with our.
And then we need to get back in the fall and do another blab so we can all talk about our results and how things look and eat pie.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Threw that in there. I like that.
And eat pie, yep.
So, wow, you may have guests.
Okay, come on over. Always enough pie.
Lisa, houseplant guru, is in the chat. She says, yeah. That would be fun. Yeah, we had you are a good cook. The little pies that you made, we all went to cultivate. Yeah,
little blueberry hand pies.
Oh, those are so good. Oh my goodness, how fun. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I don't know if just last minute here, if anybody's in the chat room and y'all have questions for Janet, please just ask away. You've been growing for since you were a kid, right?
Yep. Yeah. Well, I have an agricultural background. And so I actually grew up in an apple orchard, and I probably didn't start gardening until, I don't know, I was later teenagers, 15, 16. So yeah. Long time.
Yeah.
But I'm only 25, awesome. So I really haven't been going that long.
Me too. No. How fun. And then once again, of course, please follow Janet over on Twitter at Janet Cassidy, and on Blab, you can follow her there.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. You bet.
But I like you on Twitter. You're pretty quick at answering questions.
I try to be pretty quick on it. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. Is there anything else we should add, do you think?
I think that's it. I think we covered it. I can't wait to see everyone's broom corn pictures now. I'm kind of excited
me
for
too.
the fall.
Yeah, and it's definitely something you're going to want to direct. So I wouldn't start this indoors.
That's exactly right. Yeah, just sit tight. I know it's like the time of year where you get the itch. Really, I totally get that. But this is best just directly sown. Yep. Yeah.
So I mean, for people who end up, Lisa just asked, can I just put some in the back of my flower bed?
Yeah, for sure. So
I would say yes.
Yep. I think that's actually a great idea. It's a nice backdrop, but it gets tall. So even taller than normal corn. So just remember, it's not 6 foot tall. It's 10 foot tall.
Right. But yeah. So, and then, Lisa, we got to work on that. She doesn't have a veggie garden. I'm going to help you with that.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I don't have
She's the house plant guru,
so I know that always disappoints her, but
there you go. So, the spacing again, just one more time. The seeds are kind of small. So we're just going to kind of, what do you think? Just kind of sprinkle them?
I do. Not very deep, right? Because they're small seeds. And then maybe 4 foot between the rows.
Okay. And you only need a couple rows, if that, maybe 2.
Yeah, I mean,
3.
That's right. I think we do probably 2 or 3 for all the shock that we get, which covers our entire front porch, which we probably do, I don't know, 5 or 6 shocks.
Wow. Yeah. That's easy. Yeah. I could do that. I probably will end up putting, once they start popping up good, I'll probably put straw in between just for moisture maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. I do that with my popcorn and it works. So Very
Yeah,
cool.
either that or like you said, you could plant a crop underneath it that would sort of smother out those seeds.
Oh,
Yeah, so smother the
that's a
weed
great
seeds.
idea.
Yeah, so yep.
Yeah, maybe I should try the pumpkins again
Yeah,
this
do
year
it.
with that.
Do
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for
Yeah,
joining
this
us,
was
and thank you,
fun. Yeah,
Janet,
you bet. My
for
pleasure.
taking the time. All right, so we'll go off the record.